Hello and welcome back to the Coop De Villa Podcast. I'm Noah Fisher, joined with Jakey Mariner as always. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle 3. Jakey, we bow out of the FA Cup, or is it really bowing out? I don't really know. The wait for domestic silverware does continue. Three losses in 4 at Villa Park. Jesus, it's tough sometimes, isn't it?
Oh, well, we're just going to have to go and win the Premier League now, I guess. No, but in all honesty, it was a bit of a tough one, to be quite honest, because we went up there and beat the Geordies up there, a few weeks ago, and we did really well against them. But I don't know, last night, just nothing seemed to go right, and it just wasn't going to be our night. Tammy Abraham scoring, that's fantastic, like absolutely fantastic. But it just didn't feel like a game that we had fully control of, even after the goal that we scored. And then obviously, everything that came afterwards. So, yeah, unfortunately, we bow out of the FA Cup, but good thing is we've still got Europa League and we've still got the Premier League as well.
Yeah, there's plenty of football for, obviously, our players still to play. It's a bit of a weird one, the FA Cup. I don't believe VAR gets used until the 5th round. And the game, for me, kind of proves why we need VAR. There were some honking decisions in this game, Jakey, for both sides. And I think we got away with a lot, and we will talk about it later. But, I mean, the 5th round seems quite late for VAR to be introduced.
Yeah, I guess because you can't have VAR everywhere you go. If you go to a local ground, or if a non-league team actually goes on a magical run, which can sometimes happen, it's hard for the FA to actually take VAR and have the goal line technology and all that, everything that goes with it. And I guess that's probably why. But again, last night just shows that we do need it. It is a required thing. As much as we like to bang on about how terrible it is sometimes and how unfair it is sometimes, but last night just shows why we actually needed it. So,
I mean, we'll talk on one thing we got away with, and as you mentioned before, Tammy Abraham scoring again at Villa Park. It was a great free kick routine. Austin McPhee earning his bucks with that one. Hearing the crowd chanting, "Oh, Tammy, Tammy," it brought back some great memories of his time in the championship, and I mean, it's just great seeing him back playing for us.
Yeah, it's really, really amazing to see him back playing for us. I'm so, I don't know Tammy personally, but I'm so excited for him. He must be buzzing after actually getting that goal out of the way. Getting it in front of the home fans as well. It's must be absolutely buzzing feeling to be back. And then during the celebration, grabbing the badge as well. We've got the thumbnail. We've got the photo of it in the thumbnail as well. So if you haven't seen it yet, go and check it out. But grabbing the badge as well, it just shows how much he actually loves the club, and how much the supporters and everyone means to him, to be playing back at Villa.
Yeah, and someone else that returned, but in a different way, Jacob Ramsey made his return to Villa Park. I know we spoke about it in the kind of preview section of the Brighton review. I guess he was always going to be up for it. He's come back to his boyhood club, and I mean, he's the one that gets to smile the longest coming away with the FA Cup win. I know we sold him because of PSR and stuff, but I guess how do you see not only his game, but how he was received by the Villa fans?
I think he was all right. I think he was all right. I don't think he set the world on fire, and that's the thing. He's more of your fly under the radar role type player, where he's not going to be particularly well noticed. But at the same time, I think he did really well last night, and fair credit to our supporters as well. Like they, there's obviously a lot of respect for him as a player, and obviously you're going to have a few idiots. That just happens. That's just football. You're gonna have a few idiots who think it's all wrong and this and that. But to be quite honest, like no issues from my end with him. I think it was a pretty good return for him. and he, played well. And in the end, Newcastle really did deserve to win, to be honest.
They did, and I got to give credit to their travelling supporters as well. I think it was 6,000 of them. I believe they had the whole of the upper north, and they had their normal away section. And it's weird; they're the toughest blokes in England, apparently. A lot of them taking their shirts off and flapping around in 0-degree weather. And you got to give respect to those guys that that travel up and down the country. I know a lot of Villa fans do it the other way, so they would have had a great, train ride home or car ride home, no matter how they got to Birmingham.
They breed them tough up there.
They do breed them tough up in the Geordies. They do breed them tough up there, Jakey. Question for you as well. I think it's 3 red cards in our last 5 games against Newcastle. So Duran on Boxing Day the other week, or the other year, last year. Concert on the opening day. And then one we have to talk about, which is the most bizarre thing ever, is Marco Bizot getting sent off last night. And it's one of those red cards that I can't quite believe. It's come from a Villa corner, and they absolutely broke it at a rate of so quickly. A 3v1. I didn't even see Bizot. He just appeared on the screen. It flew in out of nowhere. Honestly, definitely a red card. I'm not going to argue against this decision. Could have quite badly injured Jacob Murphy. And I'm still in disbelief about it, Jakey.
I'm going to go down the road of our good friend OT, who may rest in peace. I think he's still dead asleep somewhere in a ditch. Or
he was meant to be joining us, actually. So shout out to you, Owen Thompson.
If you're alive, mate, let us know. Let us know. Too many Guinnesses, mate. But what the fuck was Bizot doing? What was he doing? First of all, that far up the pitch. I know keepers come up, as far, they come up for the corners and whatnot, and then they track back. But mate, he was that far up the pitch. It was not funny. It wasn't warranted. And then the quick break. Newcastle are a very quick side. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know whether he had a brain fade or, he obviously, there's no certainty that is even a goal in the end.
No, that's what I mean. Because Dougie Luiz is tracking back at quite quickly. I mean, you still take a 1-1 at halftime, 11v11. Yes, it would have been disappointing. It was the last 10 seconds of the half. It was a shocking corner from Leon Bailey. And I feel like he was quite unjustly subbed, but you have to sub someone because I thought he was quite bright. And it's just the game's really different because for some reason, Villa can't play against 10 men and we can't play against 10 men. We can't play with or against it because we didn't struggle against Brentford the other week and then Newcastle tore us apart last night. And again, you got to give them credit because we did sit back and, they just absolutely tore us to shreds in that second half.
I don't know whether he thought he could actually win the ball off him because the ball was even past him even before he made the challenge.
Yeah.
Like he'd already gone past the ball. So, I don't know whether he thought he might get away with it. I don't know. It was a pretty dumb decision, and I agree with you. I would have rather taken 1-1 and 11 men versus 1-0 at halftime with 10 men, and quite frankly, it turned the game on its head. Newcastle didn't really have that many chances in the first half.
We played quite well, Jakey, I thought.
But after halftime, that's when everything started to go downhill. Especially when we had 10 men, and it just came as about it. I'm not saying that that's the reason that we lost, but losing 10 men inside the first half to a stupid decision made by your goalkeeper is not very good.
No, and honestly, I can't get the vision out of my head of just seeing him flying through. And honestly, I'm quite thankful that Jacob Murphy isn't badly injured because it honestly could have been so much worse. And we will talk about a couple of other decisions that we kind of got going forward. I think we got quite fortunate with some of these decisions before the Newcastle fans say that we didn't mention much. Luca Dean lucky to be on the pitch as well. We could have easily had 9 men going in at halftime, Jakey. We could have easily had 9. Like VAR, if there is there, Luca Dean's not on the pitch after 42 minutes, is he?
Yeah, no, that's definitely red. He is very, very lucky to be still on the pitch after halftime. You only have to look at the type of challenge it was and how he fell. You knew that it was something bad. And then when you slow it down, you can see this. You can see the studs. Like the studs are up.
Yeah,
in my mind, that's automatic red.
Yeah.
And then just to rub it in a little bit more, Stan Sports decide to go and show the player's leg with it cut up and bleeding from Luca Dean's studs. So just to rub it in a little bit more that wasn't a red card. But yeah, that we could have easily been 9 men and it could have been a whole lot worse. But having said that, look, despite him should have been on the pitch, despite him not being on the pitch, he actually put in a pretty good performance, I thought.
Yeah, you just had that to me as well.
Unlike last week where, the Bournemouth goal where he just sort of sat back and didn't, hand it off to anybody. He actually defended really well yesterday. It's just unfortunate, that one challenge only got a yellow. So we kind of got lucky in respects.
And we've got Andrew coming in. So welcome, Andrew. Welcome to the podcast, mate. Congratulations on the win last night. 13 on the pitch. I don't know about that. I thought, well, to be fair, the refs are horrible. And not only in like Australia, but in football in general. Like we get a few shocking ones in the A-League here as well. And it just proves they do need more help. We do need more training for the referees. We do need a lot more help for them or something needs to happen. I don't know what's going to have to change, but last night just proves that there is a lot of work needs to be done in the refereeing department. So, Andrew, yes, I do think we got away with an absolute daylight robbery. If it happened against Villa, I'd be fuming. So I know exactly where you're coming from. But good luck in the next round of the Cup. Because honestly, I don't have a lot of hate for Newcastle. I mean, we're kind of in similar situations financially and whatnot. So, I mean, go win it. Why not? I don't know. But we'll talk about
go on the run. To be quite honest,
go on the run.
It wouldn't be the worst thing for Newcastle to actually go and win the FA Cup now. A lot of people talk about the Big Six and whatnot, and then the next best. We're obviously in the next best along with Newcastle. We've both got a pretty good backing. Pretty dedicated supporters as well.
Very dedicated supporters. Yeah.
I don't think there are a lot of us. I don't think there are a lot of Newcastle supporters in Australia. Funny enough.
I know a couple, but I don't think there's more. There's definitely more Villa fans in Australia than Newcastle, from my understanding. I could be wrong. That could be a false thing, but I mean they travel in their numbers. Newcastle everywhere they go, Europe, around the country. So yeah, a team I have a lot of respect for in terms of how their fans go about it, as well, Jakey. But we'll get on to some Newcastle positivity for Andrew, if you're still here, Andrew. Talk about 3 goals to talk about in the second half. I guess it was a bit of a just reward. One coming just after another Luca Dean daylight robbery in the handball that was clearly inside the penalty box that wasn't given a penalty. They did score off the second phase of the free kick. Tonali made it 1-1, 62 minutes into the game. It was just reward, wasn't it?
How much did we pay the refs yesterday?
I don't know. It seems like a lot, and it didn't even help.
To be quite honest, I reckon their pay packet's going to be pretty full next week because the amount of stuff that we got away with yesterday was pretty funny. But to be quite honest, though, Newcastle did deserve the win. 2 of the goals they scored were just unlucky. Like, one comes off Douglas Luiz's back and goes in. The other one takes a deflection and goes in. Sometimes that's just football. That's just football. Sometimes they go in for you, sometimes they don't. And yesterday they went in, but the other one yesterday was just shit defending. It's to be quite honest, I sound like a broken record the last couple of weeks. I don't think the last couple of weeks we've defended really well. at all. Brentford, Bournemouth, even probably Brighton was the only game that we actually defended relatively well, because obviously we ended up with a clean sheet, but even that didn't come out, that didn't have its half chances. I don't know what's going on with our defense at the moment. But yeah, it's a bit shaky at the moment, and it's a bit leaky too.
Yeah, and I mean, for people saying I'm like disregarding the FA Cup and whatnot, I'm not, because a lot of Villa fans that did see the success all those years ago, Jakey, it's probably the one trophy that they didn't see us win. They've seen us in the League Cup, the Champions League, the Premier League, but the FA Cup, we haven't won it since 1956. I think it's 56 was the last time we won the FA Cup, and I would love to see us lift that trophy. I thought last year was our best chance to do so, and I'm still gutted that we lost to Crystal Palace at Wembley. I know a lot of Villa fans still are. Obviously, if we got the opportunity to ever lift that trophy, I would absolutely love it, because it's one thing I do think that it still has a lot of credibility. Obviously, like the Carabao Cup, I think is a bit different. I'm not sure if that has the credibility as the FA Cup, but I don't want anything.
I don't hold the League Cup in the same regard as the FA Cup. The FA Cup is one of the world's oldest competitions, and for anyone out there saying that we're not, for anyone saying that we're disregarding it, we're not. It's when you look at the big picture, there are other things to focus on. But in an ideal world, we would love to win every trophy possible.
100%.
Whether it's the FA Cup, whether it's the League Cup, the FA Cup will have always have a lot more meaning to it than probably the League Cup or something like that, because of the history there, and we haven't won it for, what is it going to be? It's going to be nearly 70 years now. So, to anyone who says that, you're just disregarding it, we're not disregarding it. We're just looking at the bigger picture of what's to come later in the season.
And what is to come later in the season, Jake, obviously a lot of Premier League football, and as Peter said here before, Europa League football is extremely important now. We've got two avenues to get into the Champions League, one of them winning the Europa League and our league position in the Premier League. And we've got, obviously, Leeds coming up at the weekend, and then we've got a couple of bigger games after that. But I guess we'll find out more about the Europa League in the coming weeks. I don't think we play any playoffs until after the international break. I think that's when it kicks back off. But I guess, I don't know, 7 changes to the lineup. We actually haven't mentioned that as well, but 7 changes to the lineup. We're not playing again until the weekend. Did we take the foot off the gas too much in this game? I mean, it's a week off. I know we played on Thursday, but it's a week between games, like 7 days off.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of element of that we sort of didn't really take the FA Cup all that seriously. 7 changes, a rotated side. Could we may have done a little bit less and maybe a different outcome sort of, come of it, maybe, but
yeah,
you're going to put the best team out there regardless. And obviously Unai Emery thought that was the best team to send out there with, whether it was right or wrong. Only he knows that. But I think with a lot more football still to be played this season, and a lot of football that's already been played this season, I think it is, we knew that there were going to be a couple of changes. We spoke about in the podcast last week.
Yeah.
That, players like Ollie Watkins and whatnot, he obviously looks like he needed a rest. And he got that rest last night. Tammy Abraham scored, bang, and I'm pretty sure he played the full 90 minutes, didn't he?
I think so, yeah. But what I want to say about that, Jakey, as well, because for 45 minutes, our backup side, some might say, gave Newcastle a run for their money as well for 45 minutes. And there's obviously going to be a drop-off between our second 11 or 7 changes to our best team. I mean, the team that's been riddled by injuries for some weeks now. I mean, I actually thought, as I said, for 45, we really held our own. The red card did change the game, obviously, against us, which obviously you expect that. But Ross Barkley hadn't started the game in 13 months or something, so he got some he's going to be crucial for us, Ross Barkley. He's someone that we keep forgetting about, that he's only just come back as well. it's crucial to get some minutes into the legs of these players for what's coming up, which is Europa League and some massive Premier League fixtures.
And the confidence as well. Like, just think the amount of confidence that you don't gain by being on the pitch and sitting there on the bench watching. Being out there is a completely different story. One pass feels like, oh yeah, I'm really feeling the vibe. So you still do need to rotate your players. You need to give other players a fair crack at it. But at the same time, you just can't be giving them willy-nilly. But yeah, the amount of confidence that these guys would get out of being on the pitch last night in such a big game would have done them confidence going into the next couple of games to show that, hey, Gaff, I'm still here. I'm sitting on the bench. I'm ready when you are. If there's a moment that you need me, I'm ready to go. So,
yeah.
Again, I'm going to say it again for the third podcast in a row. You've got to take your chance when it comes.
Yeah. No, well said. I mean, look at Tammy Abraham. He's probably pushing for a start now against Leeds, which is probably a good time to go into that preview, Jakey. Obviously, they come to Villa Park and they're starting to look on quite good form. Leeds, they're kind of breaking away from the relegation scrap. I think they're going to be down to 4 teams now that will go down. I think Wolves and Burnley will be 2, and that's between West Ham, probably Forest, Tottenham. That'd be funny if they fell into that. So do all the Spurs fans. But they're coming to Villa Park probably in their best form in a long time. And yeah, I think it's going to be another tough game. Obviously, still midfielders still out. No Tielemans, no McGinn, obviously no Kamara. But the Villa Park crowd, as Emery has said in the last 4 press conferences, is going to be so important. And we just got to keep getting behind these players.
Yeah, Leeds are always a tough challenge whenever we go to Allen Road or whenever they come to Villa Park. There is no easy games with Leeds United for God knows what reason. Whether it's the mentality of them that nobody likes us, which it's true, nobody likes Leeds. Everyone hates Leeds. So, but they take it on their mantra and it actually spurs them on half the time. They're a frustrating team to play against because they could be in woeful form, but turn it on against you within the blink of an eye, and all of a sudden they look like, prime Real Madrid. So it's going to be interesting next weekend because they're always going to be up for it. We're at home. We've had a bit of a shaky run of late. What is it? 1 win out of our
last 4
fixtures. 4 points out of our last 4 fixtures, including the FA Cup. So, we've got a bit of confidence to build back as well.
Yeah.
And get that and start getting that confidence back, because last night was again another loss at home. And I mean, we've only won 1 game in the last probably 3 or 4 at home. So, more ways than one. Next week is going to be a big game against Leeds, and I just hope that we can get 3 points. Keep in touch with first and second, and really start to put something together. So when these 2 players come back, they're only adding to a side that's already in good form.
Yeah, exactly that. And we're going to probably touch on it every podcast because it's such a big talking point. Kevin with some equations he think would get us Champions League football. Obviously, the magic number is 67 points. I think that's what's been getting Champions League football the last 4 seasons, I believe. So, 5 wins, 2 draws. I said we needed 6 wins. That's kind of literally exactly close to that. And I think it's just got to continue against Leeds. Obviously, if you'd offered me a draw against Bournemouth away, a win against Brighton, a win against Leeds, 7 points in those 3 games, absolutely rip your hand off for it. But then we got a couple of tough ones after that. But Leeds have been in decent form, Jake. And looking at their form guide, they've won 2 out of their last 5 with 2 draws, 1 loss, which came against Arsenal, the league leaders. They have really upped the ante. They beat Fulham, they beat Forest, they drew to Everton away, and obviously most recently came from 2-0 down to draw with Chelsea away 2-2. So it's going to be an absolute cracker. we did beat them at Ellen Road earlier in the year I think it was October, which put us into the top 4, and we haven't dropped out of the top 4 since. It was a 2-1 win, Rogers with a brace that day at Ellen Road. I mean, Calvert-Lewin's obviously one player who I think could give us a run for our money, and I think he's a reason why I think Tyrone Mings might start again, just a bit more of a physical presence in the box compared to Pau Torres. I'm not sure how you see the lineup forming, but it seems to when teams have a physical striker, we do go to Tyrone Mings, which I do like. I'm not sure what your thoughts on that are.
Yeah, we need to be physical against Leeds. We can't allow them to bully us off the ball, and that's why players like John McGinn hurt us so much, is because of his physicality on the ball. He would be primed, ripped, and ready to go for Leeds next week, and he would be my go-to guy for next week if we were playing Leeds, but he's obviously out injured. So, but having said that, Tyrone Mings, as you said, is another player who is that physical presence. He's tall, athletic, but he's also very strong-bodied. So, a player like Calvert-Lewin who does like a little bit of touch, who doesn't mind things physical, is a perfect matchup for him. To get on top. Pau Torres, he's very good fitness-wise, and although at times his passing is very questionable, he is still quite a good ball user. But I think if you have to pick between the two to start, I think you've got to go with Mings, just based on physicality and like-for-likeness matchup-wise.
And I mean, Pau Torres did a great job when we played him at Ellen Road. Nullified them, I think. Like, Calvert-Lewin didn't really do too much away from home, but just how we're playing right now, I think that it's a perfect game for Tyrone Mings, and he has been playing a lot of football recently for us, and he's been doing a great job. And I'm not sure if that's because Torres might have a little injury. I don't know, but I kind of thought Torres would play against Brighton, but he didn't, and then I thought Mings would play against Leeds. And it was interesting, obviously, said Lindelof playing again last night against Newcastle.
Well, that's another name that we sort of forgotten to mention as well. Lindelof's no slouch. I mean, he could potentially fill that role if Mings doesn't, because Lindelof has a lot of experience, and he's still quite a physical player. I mean, there are a couple of things that he did last night, or that really impressed me a little bit. He's just that experience. He's been around it for a long time. He's just, I don't know how to say it, but he could be also another person that we could utilize, even if it's not the matchup for Calvert-Lewin. It's elsewhere in that defense to shore it up, because at the moment we're a little bit leaky, and we need to fix it up ASAP, because especially when we've got Wolves away next week, which we know we never win. We never win at Molineux.
I'll take a point there now.
I'll happily take a point at Molineux. But then you've got Chelsea, you've got United, and then you've got the cellar dwellers in West Ham,
who are again playing well, by the way. So
who actually have their mojo back somehow, some way. I don't know, but they've got their mojo back. So the next month of football is really important for the context of our season, and if we can't get our defense right, it's going to make it very hard to secure those points, as Kevin said.
Yeah, exactly. And also, there's a lot of new people obviously watching along. If you aren't subscribed, get down below and subscribe. Drop a comment in. It's nice to see some new faces and stuff in the chat. And if you're listening on Spotify, pleasure to have you, and can't wait to see you guys on there. We've got a couple of comments going in. Jakey, do you want to start with this one? Do you want to read this one out and let us know your thoughts on this one?
I love it when new comments come in. So thank you, Sharik. Fail in Europa League and miss out on Champions League narrowly again. Repeat of last season. I don't think
it's a two-parter as well. This couple.
This is how we're going to play without Tillemans and McGinn. Then Champions League is already gone. I don't think Champions League is already gone if this is how we're playing without Tillemans and McGinn. I think it's just we're in a bit of a rut at the moment. and we need to get out of it. And the only way to get out of it is putting in shifts, and and keep giving those players that are probably sitting on the bench more time to actually showcase what they've got. That's the only way that you're going to grow confidence out of a whole squad, not just the starting 11. We can't really rely on Tielemans and McGinn to come back and immediately start firing, because they're not. It's going to take them a little bit to get up to speed with the game. You lose match fitness being out injured because you can't train. You're in your rehab phase, so on and so forth. So even when Tielemans and McGinn come back, they may not be 100%. So you've got to back the guys that are actually doing the job at the moment. I know we haven't played all that well. I don't think Champions League is gone. I think we're right well within it.
Well, we're third in the league, Jakey. We're third in the league. We're 5 points clear of United, 6 points clear of Chelsea, 8 points clear of Liverpool. And I think fifth place is almost confirmed to be Champions League football. All we got to do is focus on the next game. We won our last Premier League game against Brighton, and all we got to do now is win the next one, which is against Leeds, and then so on and so forth. Obviously, if we go undefeated against, let's say we draw both games against United and Chelsea, that stops them from making ground on us. So we just got to keep focusing on the week after week after week. I know it's so cliche, but we will get back to the form we were. This is like, I think if we didn't make Champions League now, it'd be like the worst run under Emery since he's been Aston Villa manager. And we didn't score a goal for the first 5 games of the season. So, I mean, I think expectations are quite high at the moment on how we have been playing. And it's, so it's, we'll be right. We'll be right, I think.
Do you want to have a look at the comment that, come on, mate. Come on. I love the banter in here. I'm all for
I do love it. I do love it.
I'm all for it, but come on, mate. Like, okay, you won the League Cup last season, all right. You beat us last night. With probably what should have been 9 men. Yeah, all right.
I know. I was talking about this point from Kevin, because I believe McGinn could be back for the Chelsea game. So that's him back at a push, and then Tielemans will be back after the international break. So, but just keep the faith, everyone. Like, obviously, the fans need to just keep backing the players. The players need our support. And I just think we'll be fine. We'll see. There's still some short to be played. We're getting our players back, and we played pretty much our B side. 7 changes against Newcastle last night, and for the first 45 minutes until the red card, we were the better side, in my opinion. Anyway, obviously, I think we did get away with murder for a few things in the game, and it could have been a different story altogether. But yeah,
and look, I thought so too, because Newcastle didn't really have that many chances to score in the first half last night. I think we held them pretty well. But it wasn't until the red card that things started to fall apart, and it's very quick to jump on the negative when things aren't going our way. But we got to go back to the fact that have a look at this season. Have a look at the season. Like, we were 0-5. As you said, we didn't score a goal for the first 5 games of the season, and we were sitting there going, "Let's start the relegation party already." And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I think, you just got to keep the faith. You just got to keep the faith. And we sound so Australian right now, and that's because we are, right? Because everyone's kicking up a stink over in the UK going, we're not playing well. We're not going to get this. We're not going to get that.
We're third in the league.
We're sitting here on a podcast going, you know what? It'll be right. Yeah, she'll be right, mate.
But Kevin Jones isn't panicking either in the comments. Sharik and Kevin are having a bit of back and forth, which is always good to see. I mean, everyone's going to have different opinions. Everyone's going to have different opinions on everything. That's kind of why we love it. And Jakey and I don't agree on everything. And it's just kind of how it is. And that's what makes podcasts and football so much fun.
And one thing that we don't always agree on, and definitely one thing that we don't always agree on, is that a comment from Peter Caulfield, 8908, we never agree with him because it's just absolute nonsense, whatever comes out of his mouth.
Absolutely.
Just kidding. He is a very good guy. But look, keep the faith. It's been a roller coaster of a season. There's still going to be another lot of portion to play out. But you know, we're not when we're not playing well. That's when the true supporters start to come. When the true supporters start to come through.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's easy to switch off when we're not playing well, and and criticize the club. You know, you're allowed to criticize, and I'm no stranger to criticizing any of the clubs that I support, whether it's Melbourne Victory, Richmond, or Aston Villa. But that doesn't take it away from the fact that I still love the club. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and your opinion's not going to always be right. Someone's always going to differ to it. It's just the way it is, and that's why we love the sport. That's why we love the club, is to have these debates.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we've probably covered everything for this pod. I'm not sure anything else to talk about, Jakey. I know we plug them every week, but get involved on the socials. Get involved. The followers are still going up on all the socials, on Instagram and everything. Spotify, check us out. If you're on a walk, on a run, in the car, chuck the pod on. We absolutely love it, and we love doing them every week for you guys, even twice a week sometimes when there's midweek football.
Can somebody please tell us what you want to see on this podcast, right? Because we put it out on the pod last week. What do you want us to see? Unfortunately, we didn't get any comments. We would love to see what you guys want to see from us. Like, we're over here 16,000 kilometers away from some of you guys. You can only see us through a screen. So if there's something that you want to see us in our daily lives, whether it's, getting up at 2:30 in the morning and watching a game, or, whether it's a game of darts, or whether it's just me and Noah chatting by the pool or something. No, Peter, I'm not going topless. Actually, that is something I want, right? Anyone who's got an Aston Villa tattoo to send it to us, please. Send it to us, right?
There's only a reason why I don't have a tattoo, but I know one guy that does. You're looking at him.
Send us your Aston Villa tattoos. We'll find a way to put, and next week on the podcast, we'll find a way to get them up there to get some of the best ones up there. Yeah. I'll show you mine for now. I'm pretty proud to show you mine, but yeah, there you go.
Hey, look at that.
So if you've got an Aston Villa tattoo, doesn't matter how big, how small it is, send it across to us. Let us see it, because I'm dying to see some of these.
Yeah, and we can put a bit of collage up on socials as well, with obviously people's submissions and whatnot. We start a bit of a thing here. You won't be seeing my tattoo because I don't have one. I'm unfortunately too weak to get a tattoo. But anything else, Jakey? Anything else you want to touch on? I think that could be everything.
Do you want to give us a Leeds prediction, mate?
Oh, that's actually a great place to go. Predictions. We are going to win. We're going to win in a non-Aston Villa way. I said against Brighton, but there has to be a game that clicks, and I think it's going to be Leeds. I think we're going to win 4-0. I really think it's going to click, and I think we're going to absolutely batter it. We need to batter a 10 to get confidence back. I think it starts 3 o'clock, Villa Park, Saturday, 4-0.
We are yet to batter a team this season.
We beat Bournemouth 4-0 when I was there, Villa Park.
One team. that was also last year. I still think I'm still going to play it safe, and I'm still going to say that we'll win it 2-0. I think we're, Mings is playing well. Consa's playing well at the moment. I think I'm just going to play it safe. We're going to go 2-0. Tammy Abraham's going to score again. Good. Maybe even Morgan Rogers, or maybe even Tammy 2 again. So that's it. That's for the podcast. Give us a like, drop us a comment, send us a photo of your tattoos. No judgments whatsoever, and just get around us.
Get around it, guys. Yeah, we're loving it. Like, we love doing this every week. Like, Jake and I talk about it all the time, how much we enjoy doing this podcast for you guys. We were meant to have Owen Thompson. He's still asleep, I believe. I haven't heard from him as of yet. I think he had a late night in the UK after the defeat. So,
and just lastly, in the very near future, there is something. There might be a little change of scenery coming in the near future. So, Just keep an eye. Just keep watching the podcast. You may notice a couple of things, maybe in the next month and a bit. So,
I love it. I never know about these, by the way. This is news to me. This is a leak, and I love it. So, yeah, that's all.
That's all.
Next time, guys. Yeah. So I'll see you guys. Probably same time after Leeds United on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff. First one at Villa Park for such a long time. And next time, guys. Up the Villa. Thanks, Jakey.
Up the Villa.
See you soon.
See you, boys.